Vinyl Community, Jason here. It is midweek, Tuesday. Had some free time, thought I'd jump on and do a video. Wasn't really expecting anyone to do so soon. I'm trying to cut back on buying, but I just a lot of timing. I bought a lot of stuff last year that just came in the last few weeks. So I do have a pretty big stack of records to show. A lot of new stuff, obviously a lot of Brazilian stuff. It's all pretty much all internet buys except for maybe one. So I'm trying to cut back. So especially Brazilian stuff, it's expensive and shipping is kind of a pain. And I always bulk buy because of the shipping, so I just spend more than I need to. But anyways, I did have a lot of good stuff I want to show here. Sorry about the mess. It's just my garage is just insane right now. This is like a lot of my, to be worked on, to sell, whatever, I don't know. All my good stuff's inside. I wish I could do a video there, but kids are sleeping, everyone's sleeping, so kind of banned to the garage, not banned, but have to do these kind of things in the garage. But anyways, let's talk about records. So I'm not here to take all night to do this, but I want to kick it off. This is probably my most exciting find. This just came last week. This is from Brazilian side, but this is a Chilean record. This is Los Jaivas. This is my second Los Jaivas album, but the first original press I got. This is on IRT. This is what's playing, so I don't have the record. But Los Jaivas is Chilean. I think this one's from 72, 73. But they're traditional, like right before Pinochet came and took over the country and destroyed Chile for years and years. But these guys mix traditional Chilean folk with like rock and psych. And these my favorite band out of Chile for sure. I don't know a lot of Chilean music actually. I mean, I've heard a few things, but these guys are amazing. And these are the kind of the backup band for the Manduca record. So kind of why I feel like the Manduca record's so good. It just has some really good musicians on here. And Los Jaivas, yeah, these guys are amazing. So this is probably my favorite by the last at least a few months. They do have one more I really want to get, but this is pricey. The other two are a little bit more expensive. The one I really want, I have the repress of the debut, but the original is like my grail. It's really expensive though, but yeah, so stoked to get that. And I got some records came in today from Brazil. Actually, it's kind of prompted me to do the video. So I'll just kind of go in order, I guess. This is Mestre Copijo e Seu Ritmo, Syria. This is kind of a cool label. It's Scorpio. But yeah, I was looking at this today. Actually, I thought it was in better condition. I saw it in the day when I got it, and I thought it was in better condition. I just saw it now, like under the right light. It's got a lot of scuffing, and this record is hard to find in good condition. Not the scuffing, but it's from a region of Brazil that's very humid. So the seller who sold this to me said it's the best copy he's ever heard, just because I guess the humidity, like heavy humidity, ruins a lot of the records. So I'm excited to get it. It's a little rougher than I had anticipated, but it's cool music. It's like it's kind of, I would say it has obviously a Latin, traditional Brazilian kind of vibe, but it almost sounds like old school, like dancehall, like Jamaican dancehall. It has a very like reggae, old school kind of reggae tinge to it, so that's kind of what attracted me to it. It's a really good listen. Actually, I was listening to some of his other records today, so I kind of maybe want to start picking those up too. But I mean, it's not cheap. He's good. This guy, his records aren't that cheap. I guess maybe they're hard to find, and I think finding in good condition might be an issue. But I've wanted this one for quite a while, so and I do love the cover. And it's a little confusing. There's a German comp that came out that has the same exact cover, but it's a comp. So I don't know why people do that. It's always a little bit confusing. I knew what I was buying, but yeah, still it's a nice one to get. Something you don't see every day for sure. This is another one, came from the same seller. This is Novos Spanos, Acabou Choré. I actually already have this record, but this was an upgrade. The price was really good. And actually I listened to it today. These definitely need cleans. I just got them, but the one I have, it actually looks really, really good, but it does have some issues. So I don't know, and it's from Bahia. mean, they're from Bahia, so I don't know if maybe it is the weather in Brazil that, and it looks fine, and I cleaned it, and it still has a little bit of weird background noise, kind of like whooshing and a couple on the first song and some clicks. I'm thinking maybe it's actually the environment that these were stored in for years and years, but we'll see. I'll clean it. It's still, I think it sounds better than the one I have, so that's good. It has the insert, and this is like, you know, classic Brazilian. This is like kind of as classic as you can get. This is really good. It's like MPB, but with really good guitar playing. I forget the guitar player's name, Morais or something. I think he passed away last year, but he's a really good guitar player. So there's some really good riffs. I tried to learn a song on here, and it's really difficult. A lot of chord changes, and it's an amazing guitar player. But it's cool. It's very fun. It is MPB, so it's like kind of pop, but it's kind of Bahian roots pop. It's really good. I mean, this is classic. This is one of the first Brazilian records I bought, so I was really excited by it. I've always wanted an upgrade copy and I had to insert, so stoked to get that one. So if anyone's actually looking for a copy, my other copy is like a VG probably, without the insert. So I'm probably gonna maybe sell it locally, but if anyone's interested, hit me up. This is the third one that came as well. This is Caetano Veloso Bicho. This is the original Phillips. I've wanted this one for a while. Caetano Veloso has he's got a lot of good albums, but there's a couple that are, for me, like essential. Tranza and the first white album he did, I think it's his second album he put out, which says Caetano Veloso. But he's got some other pretty good albums too, and this one came out in '77. So the first couple songs, interesting. It has a little bit of that late '70s kind of almost like fusion-y kind of vibe, but then towards the end it gets into more of like less produced and just really good songwriting. Caetano Veloso's voice is incredible, and this record you can pick up for cheap, and so I was just waiting for a good condition for a cheap price, and you know, the seller that I like to buy from, he had you know, if he has like some stuff that I'm gonna say this is like pretty common, but still it's a good record, you know. So if you get the common stuff, he sells it for a good price. Some of the rare stuff, sometimes he goes a little overboard on it, so it's just hit and miss. But yeah, I was really excited to get that one. I've wanted it for a while. It was really cheap. I think I ended up paying like less than $20 for it, $15. So this next one, this is actually the local pickup I have. This is Traffic, their second album, and I guess why I'm really excited about this one. I thought I had this when I bought it. But I bought it because I'm really excited about it because there is a antique store like up the street from my house where I pull out money every week to pay the babysitter, and I went to the antique store maybe 5 years ago and they didn't have any records, so I haven't gone there for 5 years just assuming that they don't have records. And I was like, you know what? I was there. I think I was waiting I ordered some just lunch to pick up next door, so I was just waiting. I went in and they actually had some not a lot, but they had one stack of records, and I talked to people and they said usually there's another seller that has some. So, but the records they had were pretty good. I mean, it was kind of all classic rock, and it's a lot of stuff I had, but it was, if I was to just start collecting, I would be pretty stoked on it, some of the stuff they had. But I was excited because this is actually the first press UK press on Island. It's really clean, and I mean the prices weren't insanely cheap, but it was like really good price. I think I paid like $20 for this, and this is like, it looks near me, and I still have to clean it. So I'm just really and I thought I had it, and I actually didn't. I've seen this record a million times, not a million, I've seen it a bunch, and I think I just always find it like really beat up. That's probably why I don't own one. I just kind of always, because there's some really good songs on here. I mean, who knows tomorrow? Who knows what tomorrow may bring? Obviously, Feeling Alright. There's another really good song. I think maybe it's Crying to Be Heard. Like really kind of like funky, which I really love. Obviously, Steve Winwood's a master. So yeah, really excited to get that. So it's just super convenient. I go there every week anyway, so I'll just stop in, and they don't have a lot of records. Take me 10 minutes to go through. Just really excited about that. Now I'm looking for new spots, right? I mean, I don't really go out that much anymore, so any place I can actually physically buy records is the plus. The next one, this is Paulo Diniz, Quero Voltar pra Bahia. This is on Odeon. This is cool. I don't know, I'm starting to like these sandwich covers. I put it in a cardboard backing because it's really flimsy, but I have a few of these now. I would say maybe a handful, like 5 of these, all in pretty good condition. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of liking the Odeon. I think I only did them for a few years, the sandwich covers, but this is cool. I've worn this one for a while. Paulo Dinez. He obviously, I believe he's from Bahia. I mean, I don't know his complete background, but this is kind of what it looks like. It's like kind of like pop psych. Has some like kind of little bluesy elements. You know, obviously pop. With Brazilian, so it has samba. I really enjoyed this record. Yeah, and it's not a expensive record either, but it is hard to find. You know, for a good, if you wait long enough. Like I wanted this one for 4 or 5 years. Finally found one for cheap in a good condition. It's funny, after I bought this from a seller, and I found it from a U.S. seller, so I didn't get like a smoking deal, but I got it for a pretty good price. But I had to, I didn't have to pay $4 shipping, so for me it was kind of a win. But it's funny, after I bought it, the next day I think the seller that I bought those other records from, he posted a copy. So I guess it's how when it rains it pours, I guess. But yeah, I'm really excited to get that one. I have one of his other records. I think it's just called Paulo Dinez, where it has his face. It's kind of like huge face blown up. It's kind of blurred. I believe Gerson King is the background, so it's like super funky. That's probably his best record, but that's his other one to get for sure. Those are the only two that I'm really into with him. But here's another Brazilian record. This is Clara Crocodile. Same thing. It's kind of the Paulo Dinez. You can get this for a pretty good price, and I got it from a U.S. seller, so I didn't have to pay shipping. And this is from. So the Paulo Dinez, I think it's from like 69 or 70. This one is from late 70s. I want to say 77. And this is a cool record. It's kind of like fusion-y a little bit. It's late 70s, so it kind of has that vibe, almost getting into the 80s. But it's avant-garde, almost kind of has like a Zappa feel to it. It's kind of it's very avant-garde, fusion-y, like I already said. Yeah, there was a movement in the late 70s, which it kind of had that sound. It was almost, I would say, like, like a Talking Heads, where it was kind of like a smart 80s kind of vibe around the same time. I think Talking Heads 77 was their first album. So it's kind of like that, too, a little bit, but a little bit more, obviously, Brazilian. There's another artist called Itamar Samson, which is him. Arrigo Barnaby is the artist here. Clara Crocodile is the name of the record. Itamar Samson. There's a couple other artists. I forget what the name of the movement was called, but it kind of reminds me. There's the music I like now out of Sao Paulo is called Samba Sujo, which is like dirty samba. But I feel like it is kind of that same kind of in that same vein. Obviously, it's different now. This is what 40 years later, I guess. Yeah, 40 years later. But yeah, I really like this. It's cool. It's not for everyone. I mean, like I said, it's kind of avant-garde fusion, but it's cool. I like it. This is one I got. I'm actually finding a lot of stuff from 2020 discovering lately. This is Liana Las Haves. This is a cool little label. I don't know. It reminds me of Digwell Planets. I bought a Digwell Planets album a long time ago from my friend, and it kind of had to remind me of that label, but. Yeah, this is really good. This is a 2020 release, UK. She's a soul artist. I believe it's her 3rd album. I didn't know about her. My wife actually was listening to her, and she sent me a song, and I really liked it. And then I listened to the whole album, and I really enjoyed it. It's cool. It's definitely a neo soul, but it just has like a cool, I don't know, a little bit of an edge to it. I just really like it because her first 2 albums I listened to after, I really didn't enjoy them that much. They were kind of boring. But somehow this has a cool, almost like I don't want to say like James Brown, it's not like it, but it has that kind of like that funk element to it, which is really good. So yeah, really enjoying that one. My wife makes me play that like every other day, I feel like. This is another 2020 release. This is Arlo Parks. This is her, I want to say it's her first like real LP. I bought the one before this, but it was technically like a comp of singles or something. I don't know. But, this is really good. It's kind of in the same vein as Liana Las Haves. I don't think she's not as good of a singer as Liana Las Haves, but she's, it's a little bit, she's a little bit more poetic. But it's kind of in the same vein, neo soul. I bought this before I even I brought on pre-order, so I didn't even know what was gonna be on it. But I really, I like Arlo Parks. She's great. I think she signed it. Yeah, Arlo Parks right there. So stoked to get that. I believe it's charted pretty high in UK. I don't know, top 10 something. Has a couple cool songs on it. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So yeah, the Arlo Parks I pre-ordered like last fall. So that just came. This is another one, the same thing. Pre-ordered Celeste. Same kind of vein again, UK neo soul, but her voice is incredible, like insane. And she also, I got a sign, and I pre-ordered this one long time ago, like last summer, and it kept getting pushed back because of COVID. And I don't know, interesting about Celeste is she came out with a couple like EPs, and they sell for like stupid money. The last EP she did was a couple years ago. They gave it out for free at a store, like a chain of record stores in Canada. And they're giving it for free. Now it sells for like a couple $100. And I kind of was aware it was happening, and I was trying to get a hold of my wife's friend who lives in Canada, but I really, having to ask someone to go to a record store doesn't even collect records. Track down some random EP for me that they're giving away for free. I don't know, just didn't want to bother someone about it. But I guess the whole point of that is I was a little disappointed. I was hoping some of those songs would be on here, which I really like. The song, like I think it's at least 2 EPs. It was like eight songs between the two of them. They're like really good. I really enjoy them. And then she came out with some singles that are really good, and they aren't on this album. I think what happened is she cut an LP, put it out, and it just kept getting delayed, and she probably wrote some stuff after that ended up being singles. I don't know why she didn't include some of the earlier stuff. I was hoping, I mean, it's obviously her preference, but this is still good, but some of the songs are really good, either before and after aren't on here, which is unfortunate, but is what it is. Still a good album to have. It's good. It's enjoyable listen. Here's another 2020 release. This is, I believe it's called the Gabriels. Love and Hate in a Different Time. Gabriels, Love and Hate in a Different Time. So this is an EP. Again, these guys are from actually not too far from here. I believe they're from like the desert area just outside of Los Angeles. And it was interesting. I was listening to public radio on the way home from the grocery store, and I remember they played Salt, which I really love Salt, and I was like so excited. They were playing, I don't remember what song, but so I was like, oh man, I can't believe they're playing Salt on public radio. And then right after they played a song from here, and the DJ was just talking about, oh, this is my my favorite single of 2020, I think is this song, and they're releasing the EP tomorrow. So I just went home, and it was really good. I think the song was the title track, and I just sampled it, and I believe 4 out of the 5, I think there's 5 songs on here. 4 of the 5 songs were on Spotify, so I just pre-ordered it, and I ended up getting like one of the last copies, and it sold out. And I think they're repressing it though, but they were selling for like stupid money. Because it came from the UK. It's a UK label, even though these guys are like an hour away from me, which is a little bit annoying. A lot of the local bands I discover, I feel they're good. Albums are pressed in UK, which is kind of just absurd. I feel like there's got to be like a local LA label that could press some of this music. I don't know. It just seems weird to me, but I mean, people in UK definitely have better taste, I feel, in music than people living in the United States. At least, I don't know. I live in LA area. I live in Orange County, but I feel like there's a lot of good music from here as well. But anyway, so but before I even received it, these things were flipping for like 3 times the price, 4 times the price. It was a cheap record. This EP is like $20. The shipping cost me more from UK than but it's really good. It's should explain the music. It's like kind of like soul with like a lot of gospel elements. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. The title track's a banger for sure. The other stuff's a little bit slower too, but it's really good. Only 5 songs. I believe this is their first output. But yeah, I'm looking forward to more stuff they put out. So definitely highly recommend that one. It was a good, nice little EP. So a lot of good stuff coming out 2020. This is an album I've wanted for so long. Quarterman, Achados y Perdidos. This is his first album. It was just pressed on vinyl last year, but this is probably one of the first. He was probably the first Brazilian. Actually, let me flip the record. I love this Los Gyros. This is the IRT. I'm sorry, from Chile. It's so good. I love that label. So, as I was saying, Quarterman, he was probably one of the first like newer Brazilian artists I discovered. I want to say back in 2008 or 9. And there was a song on here. Actually, my friend introduced me to him. There was a song on here, I believe, that the first track that is on a FIFA video game. I think Guerrero. I think it was on FIFA 2008, 9, whatever. It was really good. And this is before I collected vinyl anyway. But so he introduced, and then I started following Quarterman. I really liked his album, and then he had another one that came out just after that. That was actually, I believe, produced in San Francisco, which is on vinyl now. But this is just one of those albums that I've always wanted pressed on vinyl. You know, it's just something I was hoping would be pressed on vinyl. It finally got pressed on vinyl last year. I was so excited to get this. And the one he did after this was pressed on vinyl at a record club in Brazil like 4 or 5 years ago, and I ended up buying that one, but it was really, I had to pay a lot for it. But it was like the record club's like 3rd or 4th release, and they're like huge in Brazil now, that record club. But yeah, this one is, his first 2 albums are amazing, so now I have them both on vinyl. The stuff he did after is not as good to me, but everything this guy Quarterman, everything he produces is like involved in is amazing. So yeah, if I ever see him that he's involved in anything, I was usually pick it up or at least listen to it, and most of the time it's really good. But I saw him live, not too long after that I discovered him, and that I saw him play in LA, and he actually opened for Seo, which Seo's really good too. She's like a singer, like a pop singer, but it's like kind of edgier, really good too. But all I remember from the show was he opened, and I was the only person on the dance floor, because I think I was the only person who knew who he was. Seo had like an international following, so people kind of knew who she was, but nobody knew who Quarterman was. I was the only one like on the ground, like yeah. But he played strictly. He just was released his 3rd album, and he was touring for it, and I didn't know any of the songs, and it's not as good as the first 2 for sure. And so I was like, I didn't know probably 3/4 of the set. It was a little unfortunate. I was like, come on, play the stuff I like. But it was still awesome to see him. Yeah, that was ages ago. But yeah, really, I highly recommend this one. This is probably his best, I would say. It's really good. He's a good guitar player. He's a good producer. It's just like catchy and fun and funky and pop, and it's really awesome. And this one's pretty cheap actually. I got it the first day it came out. Thought it would, like his other one, skyrocket in price, but it didn't. Maybe they just pressed a lot of them, which is good. I mean, I hope a lot of people get it. This is Walter Franco Revolver. This is the original on Continental. Yeah, this is a really good album. This is kind of like off the beaten path Brazilian, but I mean people still know it. But it is, I don't know when it came out, mid 70s, 75. This is kind of in the same vein as the Clara Crocodile. It's a little avant-garde, but this is not as fusiony. It's a little bit more like kind of rock, avant-garde rock. And I guess I was just compared to like Zappa, just because he's the only kind of avant-garde rocker I know does that kind of music. But yeah, this is really good. I highly recommend checking this out. His first album he did is a little bit more crazier, like way more avant-garde. This one's a little bit more palatable, I feel like. And then I actually have the album after he did. I bought locally from a guy pretty cheap, and it's okay. for me, this is probably his best album, just because, unless you're like really into the avant-garde stuff, I would check out his first album. It's a lot of like noise, and it's good too, and it's really, the first one's really expensive, so I'm not gonna, if it was cheaper, I might buy it, but I'm not gonna pay what it goes for. I'm not that into it, but this one's really good. And this was a kind of a sad story I had in 2020. I bought this record from a seller. I thought he was from UK, but he ended up selling from Portugal. Said it was like VG Plus across the board. He sent it to me, and the package came, and it was like so flimsy, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't want to open it. I did, and the record was cracked in half. It had like no protection on it. I was so sad. I mean, the record looked like it could have been the VG Plus, but it was cracked in half. And during shipping, I'm guessing, I'm hoping. But there was like a big cutout on the, like half the Revolver was cut out, and he had like somebody pasted like black cardboard behind it. So I was like super pissed. I mean, I was pissed because it broke, and I'm pissed that, you know, he told me his VG Plus cover, and it was like cut out into pieces. And so I complained, and just long story short, he wanted me to send it back, and the dude still owes me $30 for return shipping. He did finally refund me after, like, I mean, this is COVID, so shipping to overseas took a while, but I was just so pissed. It left a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, just kind of stuff with Discogs too. They removed my feedback, whatever. So I was just, you know, this record had like a bad mojo for me. But a seller that I used to buy from a lot in Brazil had this pop it up for a good price, so I bought it off him. So I was super excited to get that finally. It's a good addition to the collection. This was another 2020 release. This is Sven Wonder. It's Wabi Sabi. Unfortunately, I jumped on the Sven Wonder train a little bit late. I recognized the covers. People were showing it for some reason. On Instagram, I just didn't listen to it soon enough, and the first presses are sold out. Now they're expensive. So I think this is like second or third press. But really excited to get this. This is a piano. I believe that is Sven Wonder's record label, I want to say. I don't even know what instrument he plays. I think on a previous video when I was saying like latest record I got, maybe I was say it was a guitar player, but I don't think he's a guitar player. I might play piano, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is really good. It's like this Wabi Sabi. This is supposed to be like a Japanese theme, but he does kind of like almost like library music, super funky, kind of almost like it could be a DJ, but it's jazz. But I think he's from Sweden, so Swedish. Yeah, it's just really good. If you're into like that newer kind of funky jazz, just really well written. This has the like I said, like the Japanese theme. I think I have the other one I'm gonna show too, which is more of like a has like the Mediterranean vibe. But yeah, definitely highly recommend checking this out. I mean, you can tell the vibe from the first song. It's kind of the same thing all the way through. It's really good. I really enjoyed that record. I'll show the other one, I guess. This is the first album he did, Eastern Flowers, and the first press. This was in 19. The other one was 2020. The first press, I think it says it in Swedish. So this is, I think, the third press. So yeah, I almost bought a first press of this. This is really good. Super funky. It sounds like a library record. That's what I think people have been kind of saying, at least in the comments I read. But yeah, same kind of vibe. This one's more Japanese. This one's more like that. I don't know what the right. I mean, I know I'm not good. People are comparing like Turkish psych. So it's kind of like the Mediterranean vibe. So again, yeah, if you're into that like newer jazz, funkier kind of jazz, highly recommend that. This one, man, this was a grail for me. I got this for a decent price. I wish I would have, you know, obviously. I feel like I always get like, oh, I got a good price on it, but maybe it's not the perfect condition, and then, you know, I'm like, damn, you know, I really want to upgrade. So it's like, you know, I spent probably close to a couple $100, maybe 150, I don't know, somewhere between there. And this record, I don't know why, this is the hardest one to track down. This is the original Phillips, and the record's actually pretty good condition. say it's like BG plus, but the sleeve has seen better days, for sure. But yeah, this is, I don't know, I don't know if it's my favorite Georgia Bane. It definitely was the hardest one to get, and I pretty much have everything of his that I want for original press, except for his first one, which I'm still tracking down, which that one is a little easier to find, so it's kind of on my last on my list. But God, yeah, this one's really good. I mean, obviously, if you know Georgia Bane, he's kind of started more in that like samba bossa nova, the earlier stuff, with Mais Que Nada, which is I think the first song he ever wrote, which is just insanely huge, like one of the most popular songs in Brazil ever written. And then so by the late 60s, he was kind of part of the Tropicale movement. He started getting into a little more experimental. So his first two are more on that like samba. I think this is his third album, I want to say. Maybe his third or fourth. But I wonder, when is this came out? It's had to come out in like 67. But yeah, there's a couple songs on here. There's one song. Is it on here? The name of the song. But it almost sounds like it's like Exotica a little bit. It's so good. What's the name of it? Should be more prepared. I can't remember, but if you heard it, you would know. Damn. I think, it's La Lari O La La. Yeah, and actually he didn't even write that song. That's interesting. But yeah, that song is so good. I listened to that and I'm like, whoa, I was blown away. It's so different from anything I've ever heard him do. But the whole album has like kind of that vibe to it, a little bit darker, I feel like, than his first two albums. So this was like on my list what I wanted to get for 2021, and I picked it up really late. Sorry, my battery's dying here. I picked it up really late, 2020. So got to jump on my wish list here. And I'm running so long. Jesus, I ramble on. I'm sorry. These are my last three. I'll just show them. So I was on the fence about Miro Grossman. RR Gem Records. They put out Braja, which is my this is Los Chivas. It gets a little more psych. It's kind of weird, like the keyboard's a little bit off key. I don't know. I really enjoy this album. But Miro Grossman, I was kind of on the fence. I liked it when I first heard it, and when because Braja is amazing. It was one of my favorite jazz records, like the last couple of years for sure. And I liked her stuff, but I was a little bit late on the train, and like her original pressings were going for a lot. Even the represses were like $50, like from the label. So I was just like, man, I don't know if I want to pay $50 for a repress. But then this one came out in 2020, and I heard this Quiet Earth, and I was like, man, this is really good. It's a little bit. It has some guitar in it, which I think in like the first song has a little section where it's kind of like bluesy. And I was like, wow, what the heck? This is so good. And then I just like listened to the whole album, and then the next album came. I was like, wow, this is really good too. And it was the next album, so it was playing in alphabetical order on Spotify. And I was like, man, and then I knew the first one I really liked. That I didn't get it because the first one, the original, sells for like $200 now. I didn't really feel like paying like $50 for a repress. So I had a gift card for $150 that I got from work, and I found a seller that had all three for a little over, about $150. So I got the new one obviously is the first press, and then I ended up getting this one for a first press as well. But the first one I got a repress. But it was cheaper than they were from the label, so I decided to jump on it, and I had the gift certificate. It was actually between this and there was one Brazilian record I was looking to buy. But I was trying to negotiate with the guy, and I thought 150 was fair. It was a little, and he was kind of haggling over, so I just said screw it. And I do want to get that record eventually, though. So, but yeah, I can get 3 records for 150 instead of 1. And Miro Grossman, I mean, it's just like free jazz. She's from, I want to say Austria. Yeah, so really good. Really enjoying that. say all three of these. I believe all three of these are RR gems. Yeah, so it's a cool little label from, I think it's from Denmark. I want to say they're doing like jazz from all over. Most of it I think is European, but I think they did a couple acts from Canada as well. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, sorry I went too long, but that's the stuff I've been getting. I probably won't do a video for a while because I'm not expecting a whole lot coming in. I've kind of wrapped up a lot of my loose ends. In May, I'm getting my mother-in-law should be coming with like 10 Brazilian records that I bought up to a couple years ago, so I'm looking forward to getting those. But anyways, I hope everyone's doing well and finding great records. See ya.